She sold everything she had to save her daughter's life. Every memory, every dream, every last belonging, gone. But just when she thought nothing else could be taken from her, a stranger appeared. A man she didn't recognize, yet he looked into her eyes and whispered the unthinkable. Who is he really? Why would a stranger claim her heart at the moment she is most broken? And could this man be the key to saving her daughter, or the danger that destroys them both? Before I reveal the full story, take this moment to follow the channel so you don't miss twists like this, stories that grab your heart and keep you on the edge until the very last word. Anna was only 32, but life had already shaped her face with the lines of someone who had fought too many silent battles. To strangers on the street, she looked like any other woman, hands carrying groceries, a little girl walking beside her, the quiet rhythm of a normal day. But on the inside, Anna was a storm, countless nights without sleep, a heart heavy with fear, a fire burning in her soul to keep her daughter alive. The little girl was Lily, just 7 years old. She had eyes so bright, so full of life, that they almost mocked the cruel reality wrapping itself around her fragile body. Lily's smile still lit up entire rooms, but now it came with fatigue, labored breathing, and the shadow of exhaustion. For months, Anna had run from doctor to doctor, searching desperately for answers. The day the truth was spoken aloud, it broke her into pieces she wasn't sure she could ever put back together. She remembered the hospital office clearly, the buzzing sound of fluorescent lights, the folders stacked high on the doctor's desk, his fingers tapping nervously against a pen before he spoke. His voice was soft, but his words slammed into her chest like iron weights. "Anna, you need to prepare yourself. Lily's condition is extremely rare. The treatment exists, but it's not available here. You would need to take her abroad." And he hesitated, eyes heavy. "The cost is extraordinarily high." Anna's lips trembled. Extraordinarily high. Those two words didn't even begin to describe it. It meant impossible. It meant beyond her world. But a mother doesn't stop at impossible. She walked out of that hospital with Lily's small hand gripping hers and made a silent promise. "If I have to burn my entire life to the ground, I'll do it, because nothing matters more than this child breathing, smiling, living." Over the next weeks, Anna dismantled her world piece by piece. First, she sold her car, the one she had bought years ago with pride, imagining weekend trips with her family back when she still had one. Then she sold her house, the walls that had held Lily's laughter, the kitchen where they had baked cookies, the bedroom where bedtime stories filled the night. It all went to strangers for sums of money that never seemed enough. Even family heirlooms, jewelry with her mother's initials, photo albums, furniture worn with memories, all of it was boxed and priced and sent away. Each object gone felt like losing another piece of herself, but each sale meant keeping Lily alive, and that was a trade she would make 1,000 times. Some friends called her brave, others whispered desperate. She didn't care. Courage and desperation had often looked the same in her life. "Stuff can be replaced," she told Lily one night, whispering as the girl drifted to sleep in their new, cramped apartment. "You can't. You're my everything." The apartment was small, dimly lit, and smelled faintly of damp walls. Nothing about it spoke of security or home, but Anna tried to fill it with warmth. The drawings Lily taped to the fridge, the soft blanket always folded on the couch, the smell of soup that simmered even on her lowest days. Still, loneliness hung in the corners like cobwebs. Nights were the hardest.
Anna would sit by the window, city lights flickering far away, and go over numbers again and again. Selling, begging, calculating. She was running out of time and money, and the two were always intertwined. Sometimes she cried silently, burying her face in her arms so Lily wouldn't hear. Sometimes she clenched her fists so tight that her nails bit into her skin. But every morning she woke up, forced a smile, and told her daughter, "Today is just another step closer. We'll get there, I promise you." Because sometimes courage isn't found in the absence of fear, it's an answering fear with defiance. But deep down, Anna knew she was reaching her breaking point. She had sold everything. She had nothing left except hope. And hope doesn't pay for doctors, hospitals, and surgeries. "I can't afford to break," she told herself. "If I fall, Lily falls, and that can't happen." The world, however, has a way of twisting the road when you least expect it. And just when Anna believed she had given all that she could, fate placed a stranger in her path, someone who would shatter everything she thought she knew about her past and about herself.
Anna's life no longer moved in days or weeks. It moved in appointments. Morning appointments, afternoon appointments, emergency calls in the middle of the night. Hospitals had become her second home, sterile corridors her daily path, and fear her most faithful companion. In the short stretches of silence between Lily's treatments, Anna sat in waiting rooms flipping through bills instead of magazines. Her bag was stuffed with receipts, overdue notices, promises she couldn't keep. Every dollar was precious, every cent a lifeline. She watched money slip through her fingers like sand, knowing she was running out. And yet every time she looked at Lily's fragile smile, she whispered to herself, "There's no price for life. I'll keep fighting. I'll keep going." The new apartment was hardly livable. Mold spotted the bathroom ceilings, the heater rattled at night, and the neighborhood wasn't safe. But it was all she could afford, the last step after selling everything. Anna tried to make it feel less empty. Posters on the wall, Lily's toys in the corner, a lamp that glowed warm and soft during bedtime stories. But late at night, when Lily was asleep, the silence became unbearable. That's when the shadows pressed themselves against Anna's life. One night, as she walked home after an especially long day at the hospital, Lily sleeping against her chest, Anna heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate. She quickened her pace. The steps followed. Her heart pounded, her hands tightened around Lily. She turned the corner sharply, and nothing. Just empty street. Anna told herself, "It's in your head. You're just tired. Focus." But fear was a seed now, taking root inside her. Even during the day, she felt eyes on her. At the grocery store, she caught glimpses of a man in the distance. At the hospital, a shadow lingered in the parking lot. Maybe paranoid, maybe real. She tried to shake it off. "You don't have time to lose yourself to this," she told herself while staring at her haggard reflection in the bathroom mirror. "You have Lily. That's all that matters." But deep down, she couldn't deny it. Something, or someone, was watching. The weight wasn't only financial, it was emotional. Lily's illness was cruel. Some mornings Anna could barely get her daughter out of bed. Some nights she had to sit by the hospital bed holding Lily's hand until dawn. "Mom, why don't you sleep anymore?" Anna brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead. "I'll sleep later," she whispered. "But you're always tired." "Don't worry about me, baby. I'm strong enough for both of us." And even though her throat burned with the lie, Anna knew it had to be spoken. In quiet moments, her thoughts wandered to David, her late husband. She had mourned him for years, convincing herself she had let him go. But now, with every struggle, she longed for the strength of another pair of hands, the comfort of someone saying, "You don't have to do this alone."
But she was alone, and in her desperation, she began to resent it.
One late afternoon, Anna sat on the floor of the apartment. Bills scattered around her like broken glass. A whisper escaped her lips. How much more do I have to lose before life gives us a chance? What else do I have to give? Her own voice startled her. It sounded like she wasn't asking herself, but the universe. And the universe, in its silence, refused to give her answers. Days blended into nights, nights into mornings. Anna lived in the space between exhaustion and survival. She wasn't just fighting the disease. She was fighting despair, hers and Lily's. And then the first crack in her lonely world appeared. It happened when she came home from the hospital one evening. Lily had fallen asleep, so Anna carried her up the narrow stairs, every muscle of her body aching. She reached the door of their shabby apartment and froze. Because there, standing in the dim hallway light, was a man she didn't recognize. Tall, steady, his eyes fixed on her with an expression she couldn't read. Not threatening, not kind, something else. Something unsettling. Anna's voice broke in the still air. Who are you?" The man tilted his head slightly. His lips twitched into something almost like a smile, and then he said words that made her blood run cold. "Anna, it's me. I'm your husband." Sometimes life breaks you slowly until you believe nothing worse can happen. That's when the unthinkable arrives, knocking at your door. Anna froze in the hallway. The dim light above flickered, as if even the building itself was holding its breath. The man hadn't moved. He just stood there, calm, steady, as though he had expected her all along. And then those words echoed again, sharp and impossible. "It's me. I'm your husband." For a second, the world tilted. Anna felt as though the ground beneath her had been yanked away. Her grip on Lily tightened as she stared at this stranger, her mind rejecting his claim. Her voice was sharp, low, defensive. "That's impossible. My husband is dead." The man's gaze softened, almost pitying. "Anna, no. I'm David. I survived. I've been looking for you." Anna's heart thundered so hard she thought he might hear it. Echoes of loss and grief crashed within her, memories of David, of the accident, of the night she was told he'd never come home. She shook her head violently. No, you can't do this. Don't you dare say his name." Lily stirred in her arms, half asleep, whispering, "Mom? Who's that?" Anna held her daughter closer, her eyes never leaving the man. He looked so certain, so sincere, that it terrified her even more. The stranger took a cautious step forward. "Please, don't be afraid. I know this is too much, but I can explain." Anna's instinct screamed, "Stay back. Protect Lily." She pulled her daughter tighter against her chest and raised a trembling hand. "Don't come closer. If you take another step, I swear." Her voice cracked. She didn't even know what she was threatening, but she needed him to stop. The man froze, hands slowly lifting in surrender. "Okay, I won't move, but Anna, you need to hear me. I know things only David would know." Anna's stomach twisted. She didn't want to hear it, didn't want him weaving lies into the fabric of her pain. But then he spoke again, words that cut through her resistance like a knife. "Lily was born at 2:47 in the morning. You screamed when they told you it was a girl because you thought you weren't ready, but you cried when you held her for the first time. And on our honeymoon in Boston, you locked us out of the hotel room barefoot, remember? You made me promise never to tell anyone." Anna staggered backward, her breath caught in her throat. Those weren't details anyone could find in a file. Those were private moments, sealed in memory. Her mind raced. How could he know? Who is this man? Lily lifted her tired head, blinking at the stranger. The child's voice was soft, curious. "Mom? Is that Daddy?" Anna's heart shattered. Hearing Lily say that name after all these years, after nights spent filling the silence with stories of a father who was gone, it was too much. She snapped, her voice trembling between anger and despair. "Stop! Stop right now! You don't get to come here, to her, to me, and tear our world apart with lies." The man's eyes brimmed with something. Was it guilt? Sorrow? Hope? It was hard to tell. "Anna, I never wanted to leave you, but I had no choice. I had to disappear, to keep you safe. And now I'm back because I can't stay away anymore. You need me." Her legs felt weak. She managed to push past him, fumble with the apartment keys, and bury herself and Lily inside, slamming the door shut. She pressed her back against the door, her chest heaving as Lily whispered again, "Mom, he looked like Daddy." Tears blurred Anna's vision. She kissed the top of her daughter's head and whispered, more to herself than to her daughter, "Your daddy is gone, and I won't let anyone take his place." But even as she spoke, a seed of doubt was planted in her mind. Because what if, just what if, this wasn't a stranger at all? Anna did not sleep that night. She stayed by the window while Lily slept in the cramped bed. Her eyes kept flicking to the street outside, as though the man would still be there, standing under the lamp, waiting. And part of her was convinced that if she blinked too long, she'd see him again. Her chest ached with a dangerous conflict, anger, fear, and the tiniest sliver of something she didn't want to name, hope. The next morning, she found him waiting at the corner near the hospital. "Please, Anna," he said, keeping a careful distance, his hands open in surrender. "Give me 10 minutes." She wanted to scream at him, to run, to call the police. But she couldn't help it. Her feet stayed planted, her soul desperate for truth, even if it hurt. "You have 2 minutes," she snapped coldly. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a worn envelope. Inside were photographs, old, faded, but unmistakably real. Pictures of Anna and David on their honeymoon. Pictures of Lily as a newborn, tiny and wrapped in blankets. Pictures Anna swore were buried in boxes she'd lost years ago after moving. Her fingers trembled as she held them. "How do you have these?" "Because they're mine. Because I'm him." Anna's throat tightened. She wanted to deny it, but her heart skipped violently in her chest. She shoved the envelope back toward him. "Memories don't prove identity. Anyone could have these." "Then test me," he challenged, his voice steady. "Ask me anything, anything you think only David would know." Anna hesitated. Against her better judgment, she asked quietly, "What was the last thing you said to me before you left that night? The night you never came home?" His eyes glistened with something sharp. Regret. He whispered, "I said, save the last picture of Lily for me, because I didn't think I'd make it back in time to see her before bed." Her breath caught. He was right. That detail had haunted her every night after the accident. She had never told anyone. Her defenses cracked, just slightly. But then something else slipped. David went on to recall a family holiday, describing the beach house where they had stayed. Except his version was off. He described the view from the windows incorrectly, the room placements too. Anna's eyes narrowed. That's not how it was. The man faltered, but quickly covered it. It's been so long. Memories shift sometimes. Still, doubt hit her like a cold slap. Over the next days, she saw him again and again, always nearby, always waiting with that same plea in his eyes. Sometimes he came with more proof. Small belongings she thought lost, nicknames only David used. Other times, his words tangled. He mixed up the order of events or forgot details about their past. Anna's head spun. Is he lying, manipulating me? Or am I the one who's confused, rewriting my memories to protect myself? Lily, however, was enchanted. Whenever she saw the man, her face brightened. "Mom, he knows me," she whispered one night. Anna wanted to deny it, but part of her couldn't ignore how easily Lily gravitated toward him. One evening, as Anna tucked her daughter under a blanket, Lily asked softly, "Mom, what if Daddy really did come back? Isn't that what we prayed for?" Anna sat frozen for a heartbeat, then kissed her daughter's forehead. "Baby, sometimes life doesn't give us miracles. Sometimes it gives us tricks." But her voice shook, because deep down, she wasn't sure anymore. The man returned one day with something that twisted the knife deeper. A silver locket. Anna gasped the moment she saw it. Where did you get this?" It was hers, her wedding gift, long lost. She had searched for it after the accident, believing it had vanished forever. Inside was a photo of her and David dancing in the backyard under string lights. "I told you," he said softly. "I never stopped protecting what was ours." Her hands shook as she clutched the locket. Tears pricked her eyes. For a fleeting moment, she wanted to believe. But then he spoke again, too quickly, too rehearsed. "I've been watching you ever since, waiting for the right moment to come back." The words struck her chest like a blade. Watching her. Her paranoia wasn't just paranoia. He had been there. The shadows, the feeling of eyes. It had been him. Anna stepped back instantly, fears slicing through her fragile veil of hope. "This is sick. Following me, watching my daughter. If you think I'll let you into her life with secrets and lies, you're wrong." The man's face hardened. For the first time, the softness in his eyes flickered into something colder. "I'm already in her life. She trusts me. She believes me. And deep down, you do too." Anna slammed the door on him that night. But as she sat on the floor afterwards, clutching the locket to her chest, shaking and crying, she realized a terrifying truth. She didn't know which scared her more. That he was a liar, weaving manipulation around her broken heart, or that he was telling the truth. Anna knew she couldn't keep standing still. She couldn't live in this fog of fear and half-truths where a stranger's face twisted her past into questions she had no answers to. If this man was lying, she had to prove it. If he was telling the truth, she had to uncover why. And so, Anna went searching for shadows. Her first stop was the hospital archives, the place where David's body had once been documented after the accident. 32 years old, male, cause of death, car crash. That's what she remembered being told. But memories built in grief take strange shapes, and she wanted records. The clerk dug through dusty files, clicking through old system logs. After a long silence, he frowned. "There's no death certificate here," he muttered. "There was mention of an unidentified casualty, but no confirmed ID to the name David Hartman." Anna's blood ran cold. "That has to be a mistake. I saw the wreck. I was told." The man shook his head. "Paperwork doesn't lie. If there was no ID, technically, legally, he was never declared dead." Anna left the hospital with a knot in her stomach. Why didn't anyone tell me this? Who made the decision to let me believe? Next, she tracked down an old neighbor, Mrs. Green, who had lived down the street back then. The elderly woman peered at Anna with familiar warmth, inviting her in over tea. "I heard about what you've been going through, sweet girl," Mrs. Green said gently. "I don't know how you've done it, losing David, raising that precious little one." Anna's hands trembled. "Mrs. Green, think back. After the accident, do you remember seeing his body, the funeral?" The woman hesitated. Her face shifted uncertainly. "Honey, I only remember the closed casket. We all thought it was strange, but what?" Anna pressed. Mrs. Green sighed. "There were rumors, whispers that David got mixed up in some trouble. Money, debts. Some folks said that maybe he didn't die at all. Maybe he just ran." Anna's pulse roared in her ears. Ran, not died. The same thought she had buried 1,000 times now rose like a ghost. She left with more questions than answers. Everywhere she turned, the truth seemed to dissolve into smoke. Back at the apartment, Michael, the man calling himself David, was waiting again. He leaned against the wall in the hallway, calm, patient, relentless. Anna's voice was harsh, fueled by a day of shaken ground. "People said you ran. That's the truth, isn't it? You left me. You left her." He stepped closer, his expression tight, as though her words had pierced something raw inside him. "I didn't run. I had enemies, dangerous people. If I stayed, you and Lily would have been destroyed along with me." Her hands clenched into fists. "And now what? You just suddenly reappear after all these years? Right when I've given everything I have to keep Lily alive? You expect me to believe that? To accept you?" He stared at her with an intensity that unsettled her. "You don't have to accept me, but you need me, Anna. Whether or not you want to believe it, I can save her. I have money, resources, connections. I didn't come back just for me. I came back for you, for her." Behind the door, Lily peeked out, her small voice cutting the silence. "Mom, why are you yelling at Daddy?" The word Daddy made Anna shiver. She turned toward her daughter with aching eyes. "Sweetheart, please, it's more complicated than you think." But the damage was done. The little girl had already chosen to believe. That night, while Lily slept, Anna sat alone staring at the locket, the photographs, the papers. Her mind screamed one truth. If the body was never identified, if the stories of deaths and danger were true, then maybe, just maybe, David really had survived. But another voice whispered an even darker possibility. Or maybe this man knows enough to manipulate you with your deepest wound. Anna pressed her palms to her face and whispered aloud, "God, give me clarity. Because if I'm wrong, Lily is the one who will pay the price." The past doesn't stay buried. It waits, hidden in shadows, until the moment it rises to demand answers you never thought you'd seek. Money. It was always money. The silent weight chained to Anna's every thought. The numbers on bills, the hospital costs climbing higher like walls she couldn't scale. The sobering reality that no amount of sacrifice would ever be enough. And then came Michael's offer. He appeared one evening outside the hospital, as if he had been waiting for the exact moment her strength was lowest. Lily had just endured another exhausting procedure. Anna's hands shook as she guided her sleeping daughter into the back seat of a borrowed cab. Michael stepped from the shadows, suit darker than the night, his presence heavy with deliberate calm. "I can help you," he said simply. Anna stiffened, her jaw tightening. "I told you to stay away." "But you need me," he countered, his voice even, "and you know it."
Before Anna could move, he pulled a stack of papers from his coat pocket and handed them to her. Bank slips, transactions, enough money to cover Lily's treatment, maybe more. More than Anna could ever dream of collecting in time on her own. Her heart stopped. For a split second, the steady drip of fear inside her was interrupted by a dangerous thought. She could save Lily. But her suspicion flared hot. Where would you even get this kind of money? You expect me to believe this is clean? That you, just earned it? Michael let out a rough laugh, not mocking, but almost weary. The world doesn't give miracles to people like us, Anna. You know that. Nothing about this is clean, but it's real. It's what you need. Anna's pulse hammered. So what, if I take it, I'm in your debt? Is that it? That's your price? His eyes sharpened. My price is simple. Trust me. Let me back into your life. Trust you? Anna snapped, her voice breaking. You show up from nowhere. You claim a name that belongs to my dead husband. You lure my daughter into believing, and now you want me to trust you? Michael stepped closer, his words like stone. If you don't, Lily dies, and you know it. The world swayed around her. His words landed like poison, and yet there was truth in them. She had tried everything, sold everything. She had nothing left. Nothing but this one man's impossible offer. That night, Anna sat by Lily's bed, staring at the stack of money Michael had left behind. She hadn't thrown it away. She couldn't. Her daughter stirred, whispering her name in a faint half-dream. Anna stroked her hair, tears blurring her sight. Mom, it's okay to let him help. Sometimes dads come back. Anna bit her lip until it bled. He's not your dad. He can't be. But the numbers on the hospital bills screamed louder than her doubts. By dawn, Anna made a choice, not of full trust, but of surrender to necessity. She would use the money, just enough to keep Lily alive a little longer. Yet her journalist's instinct, sharp from years of obsessive detail, of surviving betrayal, kicked in. She traced the source of the funds left behind. And the truth was worse than the lie. Shell companies, fraudulent businesses, under-the-table dealings tied to organized crime. The name Hartman, her husband's name, surfaced in documents connected to debts, stolen identities, things she couldn't fully untangle but knew were dangerous. The same shadows that once haunted her husband now lingered in Michael's wake. Holding the papers, Anna whispered aloud to the empty room. So this is what you want me to do. Trade my daughter's future for your sins. Keep her alive with dirty money, or let her slip away with dignity. Her heart twisted. No mother should ever have such a choice. That night, she confronted him. She cornered Michael outside the apartment block, her fury raw and unfiltered. This is blood money. You want me to save my daughter by chaining her to your past crimes? That's your idea of love? His expression darkened with something between guilt and defiance. It's the only love this world understands. You survive however you can. Anna's voice broke into a scream. And what if survival costs us everything that makes us worth saving? He didn't answer. He just stared, as though her words had pierced a hidden wound. And for just one fleeting second, she saw it. Sorrow in his eyes, sorrow too deep, like a man carrying the weight of more sins than he could ever confess. But whether that sorrow was real or just another manipulation, Anna couldn't yet decide. When you are desperate, every hand that reaches towards you looks like salvation. The hardest part is asking, does it pull you out or drag you deeper in?
The rain came pouring down that night, drumming against the thin windows of the apartment like an urgent warning. Anna stood by the kitchen table, staring at papers, bank slips, medical bills, the cursed stack of money Michael had given her. Her pulse pounded with the rhythm of the storm. She had tried to convince herself she could wait,
that she had more time to make a choice. But Lily's condition was deteriorating fast. Doctors whispered that she needed the surgery immediately. And still, the one man offering salvation was wrapped in secrets and lies. Anna couldn't live in this half-light anymore. She needed the truth. So when Michael appeared outside again, as if the storm had delivered him to her door, Anna didn't yell, she didn't run. She pulled him inside. "Sit," she ordered, her face pale and hard. Michael looked at her quietly, rain dripping from his hair. He sat, but there was tension in his shoulders, the stillness of someone expecting confrontation. Anna slammed a folder on the table. The documents she'd uncovered, the links to crime, the unverified death certificate. "My husband's body was never identified. People whispered about deaths, enemies, about him running, and then you show up with his face, his memories, his life. But something doesn't fit." Michael leaned back, his jaw tight. "Anna, no. You're going to tell me the truth right now. Who are you really?" Silence stretched between them. Only the storm answered. Finally, Michael exhaled, a long, weary sigh. His eyes lifted to hers, heavy with something that looked disturbingly like shame. "My name..." He paused as if the word itself was poison. "My name isn't David. It's Daniel." The sound shattered the air. Anna froze. "What?" "I'm David's brother." His voice was low, stripped of its confident edge. "Twin." The word echoed, surreal and unreal all at once. Anna's knees nearly gave way. "That's impossible. David never had..." "He never told you," Daniel cut in. "Our mother gave me away. The family never spoke of me again. I grew up in places you can't imagine, with people you'd never want near you. I walked a darker path. And David, he was the golden one, the one who got the clean life, the wife, the daughter." Anna's breath came fast, shallow. She gripped the table like it was the only thing keeping her standing. "So you lied. You played with me, with Lily. You made us believe..." "I never meant to hurt you," Daniel said sharply, leaning forward, desperation slipping through his voice. I thought if I came as him, maybe you'd listen. Maybe you'd let me close, because the truth about me, about him, is too dangerous." Anna shook her head, her chest burning. "What truth?" Daniel looked straight into her, eyes shadowed. "David isn't dead." The silence after was louder than thunder. Anna's hands went numb. "No, don't you dare. Don't you come into my home, into my daughter's life, wearing his face and tell me..." "It's the truth," Daniel interrupted, his voice hoarse. "David survived. He disappeared because he had to. He owed people, terrible people, more than he could ever repay. And they would have come after you, after Lily, if he stayed. He ran not because he didn't love you, but because he did." Anna's tears blurred her vision. She didn't know if it was grief, rage, or the dangerous sliver of hope that wouldn't die. "Show me proof," she whispered. "If he's alive, prove it." Daniel hesitated, his jaw clenched. "I can't, not yet, but I can take you to someone who knows, someone who's been keeping him hidden." The storm outside raged harder. Inside, Anna collapsed into a chair, her body trembling. Lily padded into the room, rubbing her eyes. Small, innocent, unaware of the storm between the adults. "Mom, why are you crying?" Anna pulled her close, kissing her hair. "It's nothing, baby. Go back to sleep." But inside, her soul was screaming. For years she had believed David was gone. She had buried him in her heart, made peace with the unbearable. Now a stranger with his same face, his family's blood, was opening wounds she thought had scarred over. And if there was even the smallest chance her husband was alive, then everything she thought she knew was a lie. Daniel stood, his voice low but certain. "Believe me or not, but the truth is coming for you, for Lily, for all of us. And when it does, The only choice you'll have is which lie you're willing to live with. The past doesn't whisper, it waits. And when it crashes back into the present, it doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. The hospital corridors were filled with the constant hum of machines, the sterile smell of disinfectant, and the quiet footsteps of nurses rushing from room to room. But for Anna, the sounds blurred into one single truth. Her daughter was running out of time. Lily had collapsed that morning. Her breathing had faltered, her small body giving way to the cruel disease that had been stealing her life piece by piece. Now, hooked to monitors, pale and fragile, she looked more like a ghost than a child. "Anna," the doctor said, his tone firm but laced with pity. "We can't wait. If she doesn't get the surgery within days, maybe hours, we'll lose her." The words cracked open Anna's chest. She held on to Lily's hand, whispering softly, more to herself than to her daughter. "Not yet. Not like this. I haven't fought all this way to watch you slip away now." She stumbled out of the room and into the waiting area, where she found Daniel, sitting, his posture sharp, his eyes locked on her. He didn't ask what the doctor said. He could see it on her face. "She doesn't have time," Anna whispered, trembling. Daniel leaned forward, his voice low but steady. "I told you, I can make this happen. I have the money, the contacts. But Anna, you need to trust me completely, and you need to be ready for what comes with that." Anna's fists clenched. "You want me to buy her life with blood money, dirty money. You want me to stake her survival on corruption. How is that saving her?" "It is saving her," he snapped. "What do you care if the bills are stained with dirt or blood, as long as she survives? Survival doesn't care about morality." His words cut deep, because wasn't that exactly what she feared? That saving Lily would demand the loss of everything else she believed in. But Daniel didn't stop there. His tone shifted, softer, more piercing. "You keep fighting me, Anna. You treat me like an enemy. But I swear to you, David is alive. And if you want a real future with Lily, you'll need him. He knows things. He's the one who can wipe away all this debt, all these shadows chasing you. Only he can make this disappear." Anna's world tilted. "And how do I find him?" Daniel's eyes narrowed. "Let me take you to him. I know where he's hiding." The storm in Anna's heart boiled over. Rage, grief, hope, and fear all collided. "What if this is another trick, Daniel? What if you take me somewhere and it's the end of me and Lily both?" He held her gaze, fierce and unyielding. "Then why would I be here, night after night, watching over you? Why would I put myself in your line of fire if not to make this right?" Anna stared at him, searching his face. She wanted to see deceit, an angle, a lie. But what stared back was grief, a hollow grief that mirrored her own. Later that night, Anna returned home exhausted. She lay in bed with Lily curled against her side, listening to her daughter's labored breathing. Every inhale was a reminder that time was not waiting, and a choice haunted her like a waking nightmare. Take the money, take Daniel's word, risk stepping into a world of shadows because maybe, just maybe, David was alive. Or refuse, and watch Lily slip through her fingers. The next morning, she stood before Daniel, her voice trembling but hard. "If David is alive, you're going to take me to him. But if you're lying, if this is one more cruel game, then I swear, Daniel, I'll burn you to the ground before I ever let you near my daughter again." Daniel simply nodded, eyes set with something like grim determination. "Then pack your things, because if we don't leave now, Anna, we'll be too late for all of us."
The safe house was hidden deep on the outskirts of the city, an abandoned warehouse converted into a crude refuge. Rust clung to the walls, and the air smelled of dust and gasoline. Anna stood frozen at the doorway, her pulse racing as Daniel led her inside. Her mind screamed that this could be a trap, but her heart whispered another possibility. What if it's true? And then she saw him. A man stepped out of the shadows. His face was thinner, his body weaker, his hair streaked with gray. But the shape of his jaw, the curve of his mouth, the spark in his eyes, on his breath caught. It was him. It was David. Her knees threatened to collapse. A sob tore free from her throat. "David?" His eyes widened as he whispered, "Anna." His voice cracked with disbelief. "You're here." For a moment, the world split open. Time folded in on itself. She saw the man she had loved, the one she buried in her heart, standing alive in front of her. Tears burned her eyes as she stepped forward, trembling. "You're alive! All this time, you're alive!" But before she could reach him, Daniel's voice cut sharply through the air. "Careful, Anna. He's not the man you remember." David's gaze snapped to his brother. His voice hardened with venom. "You have no right bringing her here, Daniel. No right involving her in this mess." Daniel stepped between them, fury and old wounds bleeding into his words. "I have every right. You abandoned them. You let her think you were dead while you hid like a coward." "Don't twist this." David's face darkened. "I disappeared to protect them, from you and the people you dragged us into." Daniel laughed bitterly, shaking his head. "Still lying, still blaming me for your sins." Anna's head spun. Two men, two faces of truth, both carved from the same blood, both hurling accusations she couldn't untangle. Her voice cracked, desperate. "Stop it! I don't care about your war. I care about my daughter. So tell me the only thing that matters. Who's telling me the truth?" David's eyes softened as he turned back to her. "Anna, I wanted to come back every day. But if I had, you and Lily would have been hunted down. Daniel worked with men you can't imagine. He betrayed me. I disappeared because I had no choice." Daniel's fury flared. "He's spinning lies. I'm the one who's been here, watching over you, making sure you weren't crushed under the weight of his mistakes." He stepped closer, his voice low and sharp. "Ask yourself, Anna, who fought for you? Who stood by your side when no one else did?" Anna's hands shook violently. She felt trapped in the middle of a nightmare cage, one brother claiming love through absence, the other claiming devotion through presence. Both wanted her to believe them. Both had pieces of the truth, jagged and bloody. And all Anna could feel was the ache of betrayal. Her voice broke into the silence, ragged and raw. "I don't know who either of you are anymore, but I know this. I will protect Lily, with or without you both. So if either of you think I'll let your secrets decide her fate, you're dead wrong." Her words crashed into the room like a thunderclap. For once, both men fell silent. The night fractured in chaos. Anna awoke to the sound of shattering glass and muffled footsteps. She sprinted to Lily's room, only to find the bed empty, the window open, the curtains trembling against the cold night air. Her scream ripped the silence apart. "Lily!" Panic thundered through her veins. She stumbled to the hall, but Daniel and David were already there, both wide-eyed, both armed with rage. "She's gone," Anna gasped, voice shaking. "They took her." David swore under his breath. "They found me, the people I was hiding from. They knew she was my blood." Daniel's face darkened. "Don't you dare put this on me. They came because of you. Always you." Anna grabbed both men by their arms, her voice steel despite the terror clawing at her. I don't care whose fault it is. You're both going to help me get my daughter back, or you'll regret ever stepping into my life." For the first time, both brothers fell silent under her command. The chase led them into the city's underbelly, abandoned warehouses, flickering street lamps, the scent of oil and rust. The place where debts were collected and loyalties sold. Anna's shoes pounded against the floor as she pushed forward, faster than either man. Fear wasn't slowing her, it was propelling her. A mother's terror can turn into her greatest strength, and tonight I am unstoppable. They found Lily bound to a chair, her eyes wide but dry. They had tried to scare her, but the child carried her mother's fire. 3 men stood guard, armed, dangerous. Anna didn't hesitate. She charged forward, her voice blazing. "Let her go!" The men laughed. One sneered, "The kid's worth more than her weight in diamonds. Debt's debt, and your family owes plenty." Daniel and David moved then. 2 brothers, 2 shadows, old betrayals shaking the air like thunder. They fought with desperate ferocity. Blows landed, shouts echoed. For every move Daniel made with precision, David countered with raw fury. But the deciding strike didn't come from them. It came from Anna. She grabbed a rusted pipe off the floor and swung with every ounce of her fear and fury. The sound cracked through the warehouse as one man fell. The others turned, shocked, but she was already on fire, eyes blazing with something untouchable. "I am not your victim. I am her mother, and that makes me stronger than all of you." The men faltered. Fear, real fear, crossed their faces. In the chaos, Lily was freed. She ran into Anna's arms, sobbing into her chest. "Mom, I knew you'd come. I knew it." Anna pressed her lips to her daughter's hair. "No one will ever take you from me again, not while I breathe." And then the final betrayal drew its breath. As Daniel and David fought side by side for once, the truth burst open. In a heated clash, Daniel shouted, "You're the one who sold me out, Daniel. You dragged them to my doorstep years ago. You're the reason I had to vanish." Daniel's blade nearly slipped from his hand. His eyes widened, not in denial, but in guilt. Anna's heart dropped. All this time, all the shadows, the debts, the lies, it had been Daniel. But before she could act, the fight turned vicious. One brother would not survive. When the dust cleared, the warehouse was silent. Blood stained the concrete. Only one brother stood. Anna stared at him, trembling, her daughter clutched tight. He breathed heavily, his face unreadable. "You saved her. But I need to know, did I just lose the right one?" She would never truly know. Not with certainty. But as dawn broke over the city, Anna walked out with Lily in her arms, her own strength the only truth she could depend on. A mother's love is the sharpest weapon and the strongest shield. In the end, salvation does not come from those who claim to protect you. It comes from the fire inside you, the fire that refuses to let go.
Weeks later, the world looked different. The hospital smell was still the same, sterile, clean, heavy with disinfectant. But this time, it didn't feel like despair. This time, it felt like victory. Lily lay in her bed, small and fragile, but alive. The surgery had worked. She was healing. Her cheeks had color again, her laughter weak but real, her eyes shining brighter every day. Anna sat at her side, holding her hand, tears rolling freely down her cheeks. For once, they weren't tears of pain, they were tears of gratitude. "You did it, Mom," Lily whispered softly one morning. "You saved me." And Anna nodded, pressing her forehead to her daughter's. "No, baby. We saved each other." Life after the storm was quiet. Their new apartment was small, but warmer now. filled with Lily's drawings taped to every wall, hope in every corner. Anna no longer stared at bills until dawn. She no longer chased shadows. The brothers, David and Daniel, were gone. One buried, one vanished. Anna sometimes dreamed about that night in the warehouse, the silence after the fight, the unanswered questions. Had she trusted the right one? Had she lost the other unfairly? Some mornings, she swore she heard David's voice in her memories, whispering that he had always loved her. Other times, she wondered if it had been Daniel's hand pulling her back from ruin in the end. But she had learned something greater than choosing between them. She didn't need either man to define her story. One evening, as she unpacked the last of Lily's old boxes, Anna found a sealed envelope at the bottom. No name, no return address. Her pulse raced as she opened it. Inside was a single note, written in David's handwriting. Or was it Daniel's? The truth isn't gone. One day, you'll need to face it again. Until then, protect her. She is the light neither of us deserved. Anna stared at the note, her heart caught between dread and love, mystery and hope. She slipped it into her pocket and whispered to herself, "I'll be ready. Whatever comes, I'll be ready." Then she went to Lily's room, kissed her forehead, and turned off the light. Because the future wasn't built on shadows anymore. It was built on resilience, courage, and a mother's unwavering fire. Sometimes, survival isn't about finding someone else to save you. It's about discovering you had the strength all along. If you love this story full of suspense, twists, and emotional dramas, make sure to follow this channel so you don't miss the next journey. New stories, thrillers, and emotional dramas are on the way, and each one will keep you on the edge of your seat.